This episode sponsored by Lake Monster Details, producing the Don's Light and Magic Legacy line of parts, offering upgrade parts and decals for accuracy, special effects, and lighting. Visit www.lakemonsterdetails.com and make it glow. Also sponsored by GCals, producing aftermarket replacement decals and custom quality graphics for your favorite spaceships. Visit www.gcals.company.site and add some personalization to your sci-fi models today.
Hey, what's up, fellow modelers? Will here. Welcome, Model from the Engine Show. This is episode 3 of the 1/350 scale Bird of Prey build. And I apologize, it's been a little bit since I put a video out, but I'll tell you why here in a little bit. But this episode, I did get in the the positionable wing conversion kit from Lake Monster Details from Cass over there. He got that to me, and we're not going to get to putting this together yet. This is going to be a video on its own. We have a little bit of work to do to this. As a matter of fact, I've got to backtrack a little bit, which is why I want to get this out. And it's going to be a little bit short, but I got a little ahead of myself doing my model. You know, I usually like to take my time and concentrate on details and get everything right. And this time I did not do a good look or take a good look at the instructions that Cass had sent me, because he'd sent me the instructions for this via email several weeks ago. And I should have looked at them and noticed what needed to be done to this before I got to putting some of this together. So it's best we just dive right into it. So give me a minute. I'll put you on the bench. We'll get to work. All right, guys. So here's where I'm at. We're going to talk about this mess in a minute. But just to show you where I've gotten at, I've done most of the detail painting on the front here. I was talking about I was going to try to shrink down this part that comes with the that's a 3D print file for the Big Bird, and I did shrink it down. So I've got a smaller one now for this model, and this is going to sit right on top of it, like kind of like that. I may have to shorten it up a little bit more, but it's pretty much going to be like that. That's pretty much how it's going to sit on there. I'll probably paint it, looking at the studio model, I'll probably paint it gunmetal, and maybe do some weathering on it as well. But it looks more like a black or darker color on the studio model. So anyway, I've got that printed up, and I'm going to do a little more work on that and get that into place. But for the most part, I've done all my little lights that go on these different, that one we'll talk about in a minute, but I've done most of these other lights in the different positions here with SMDs, and I'm using, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, I'm using warm white, and I'm using warm white SMDs because when I look at still images of the model, except for a couple of scenes and a couple of screen grabs, to me it mostly looks like it's warm. They use warm white on it. Now I don't know that for sure, but that's what it looks like to me. So that's what I decided to use on this, and you can see how that lights up on there. It's got kind of a yellow tint to it. And when I look at, let me pull up this picture. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, so when I pull up this picture, you can kind of see those lights on the front there, and that lower light on the bottom, and that you can see just make out that light on top. To me, they look like a warm white, and it could always be the filter that's used when they took these images. Even the spotlights on the wing look like they're warm white to me. So I decided to more closely imitate those images that I see. I decided to use warm white SMDs, and I like them. I think they turned out pretty nice. I think they still light up real well. And I've got that one there, and I've got this one run up front here. So you can see that one lights up too. And I've also got a light right on the front here, which I'd have to go through all this mess of wires I've got right now to see which one it is, but I've got that one there, and then I had one back here. So let's talk about this mess now for a minute, now that I've kind of caught you up on the lighting I've done on this. So as I said in the previous video, I was waiting for Cass over at Lake Monster Details to send me the adjustable baffle kit, which he did. And I've got it right here, and comes with some different parts, and this is almost a model kit in itself, so I'm probably going to spend the next episode putting this together. I'm not going to this episode because Cass is going to send me some additional plates. Those of you that had ordered or are familiar with the DLM part on this, you'll notice that the curvature is not there like it should be, and I'll show you this model image for comparison. But you notice it has a nice smooth curve on the studio model there. Well, it's not on this one, and this is the original DLM mold. Now Cass has gone and redone this mold, and we're going to take a look at that once he gets it to me. He had to send those separately, and I have not gotten those yet. So once I get those in, I will show you the difference on that. You can kind of see that difference, though. This really doesn't have a nice even curve around it. But like I said, Cass is gone, and he's corrected that, and it looks exactly like it should now. So I'm going to wait until I get that part in, so I can show that, and then we'll go over the assembly. But what I do want to look at in this episode is I just want to kind of explain this mess here. So Cass had sent me these directions before. He had emailed them to me for me to kind of look at. And what I didn't notice was, and you guys know if you've watched my videos, you know I usually like to take my time on things and work for accuracy, but where I screwed up was all the way at the back here. You'll notice we've got to remove, if it'll show up, if I get the, let me adjust this focus a little bit. You'll notice we've got to remove this part here that's orange, and we got to cut this section in half here. Well, the problem is I had already attached these parts here to the top. So, well, sorry, wrong side, this side. I'd already attached these parts up here, so I had to pry them off when I actually got these the whole kit, and I actually looked over the instructions like I should have the first time, and noticed that there's a modification that has to be made to the body before I can attach these. So had to pop those off. They didn't come off cleanly. They've made a bit of a mess, so I'm going to have to do quite a bit of cleanup once I get this kit part modified. So basically what the directions call for is they want you to cut this whole orange section out, but leaving this detail here. So I'm going to use a couple different things to achieve that. The first thing I'm going to use is I've got my micro saw here, and this is micro saw is really good for cutting parts in half. I did this with the wing mounted cannons, and not losing a whole lot of material, so you don't have like a shortening of the item, of the object, and you don't have a big gap either when you go to put parts back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this saw, and I'm going to make this first cut here. I'm going to hang this front end off so I don't bend it. It's going to take me a little bit to do this, but you can see it. We've got to cut this part here all the way down, and then we need to cut across here. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and I've already attached this part too, but I shouldn't have to mess with that. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is use my saw, my micro saw, to cut this cut, and then I'm probably going to come in with my Dremel cutting blade and cut these two spots here. And then what they actually recommend in the directions is to use a drill bit, a .030 drill bit, and drill a bunch of small holes, which you've seen me do before on a couple different models. I've done that where you need to make a hole, you drill the windows around, or you drill the holes around it, and then you just cut it with your modeling knife, your hobby knife, your X-Acto blade, whatever you use, and get that done. So I think that's what I'm going to use for this part, and to keep this detail here. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll come back and show you what I've done. So give me a little bit. Alright guys, so here's what I've done. Now I made this first cut across here with my micro saw, but because the backer on the blade wouldn't let me get all the way down, I didn't use my Dremel saw blade. Instead what I did was I just did like the instructions said. I came along and I just drilled a series of holes along the edge here. Now remember, if you do this, don't drill right up against the edge. Try to drill just a little bit away from it, so that way you don't want to drill down into this or eat up the edge, because if you leave a little bit of material on there, it'll be easier to sand this and make it nice and smooth without losing any of the edge. So you see I've drilled holes all the way around to this other side here, and then all you got to do is take your hobby knife and just break through the little holes. Now probably be ideal to have the thicker blade X-Acto knife. I don't have any of those blades here, so I'm just going to have to make do with this one and just do a little bit of time and just work it. You don't put too much pressure on the blade and risk breaking it off and have it go flying off somewhere. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have some type of eye protection on if you're doing this, so that way if that blade comes flying off, it doesn't get in your eye. Just a suggestion for those of you that decide to do this, and just work it gently. You may have to go around it 2 or 3 times before you finally get it to start break loose, but doing it this way, you can kind of work around this piece that they want you to keep here, this detail, without taking away too much material from it. And then we can come back and, like I said, we can come back and sand it and get it nice and flush with our piece that's going to add on here. So when we put the look at that, see, broke the blade already. When we go to put this kit together, it's going to take up this whole area here, and I'm going to kind of have to reevaluate now how I'm going to do the lighting on my engines. It looks like there should still be enough space in here for me to put the lights. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I didn't even think about the fact that in order for these wings to fold up, they were going to have some place to fold into. So anyway, you can see I'm breaking through here now on this part. My blade's going into there, so you just work your way around, and we'll get this piece out, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at it. Alright guys, so I've got this pretty much cut around, and let me just pull it off, and there we go. That's how that's supposed to come off. So I do have enough material here where I can come along and sand it so it's nice and even all the way across, and I left enough material around this as well to do the same thing. So what the directions call for us to do is make another cut here and cut this back end off. I'm assuming that's just so we can fit the part in place and then keep this piece here in place, and then just fit this back over and glue it back in place. So unfortunately I'm going to have to cut through this part too because it's glued on there. I've tried to pry this off and I'm afraid of breaking it. I think I'm just better off just cutting it so I'll have a nice smooth edge to glue it back together. But again, if I wasn't in such a rush, that wouldn't be a problem because you wouldn't even put this piece on yet. But simple enough. I mean, I'll just let's see, where is I'll just take my microblade. I got to hang this off the table a little bit because I don't want to damage this underside. This underside piece is rusting against the table, so be aware of that if you've done any assembly of this before you attempt this modification. So I'm just going to cut as soon as I get my saw started. And this micro saw actually cuts pretty quick. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. So I've got that. I can't hang that off the... It's all right. It's not going to put a lot of pressure on it right now. I'll cut down through here. It's like when the magician puts their assistant in the box and cuts them in half. You just kind of grit your teeth. I gotta cut this. So, and if that takes a little bit of putty work, oh, one of my resistors came off. That's all right. I'll figure out which one it is and put it back on. So that's pretty much it for the modification we've got to do to this. Now I've got two pieces. This isn't cut great. It's got a little bit of an angle, but that's all right. I might have to do a little bit of putty work to it after I get together, but I'm really not too worried about this here because the wing is going to be over it, and then you've got that other small winglet that comes out the bottom here. So this part's not going to be very visible, but I'll still get, yeah, it'll go together. That micro saw doesn't leave too terrible of a gap when you have to cut parts. Let me focus in for you here a little bit. But you can see when I put that part together, these little pieces hanging off here. And there's not too bad of a seam there. Once I get it together, I'll have to do probably just a little bit of putty and a little bit of sanding, and it should be good to go. But so that's pretty much the modification for that part. You know, you just cut this part off and toss it, and we're done with that. So the next step is going to be to get this kit put together. But again, I'm not going to do that till next episode because I'm waiting on these updated and corrected plates here that Cass has done, and I want to show the difference between those. So it's pretty much a short episode, everybody. Sorry, but it's been kind of difficult to get in here and do anything this week because if you're not following on my Facebook page, I've got a wildfire going on near my house, and every day it's getting a little closer. It was about 12 or 13 miles away, and then one day it was 9 miles, and I think now it's like 6. So we've packed up a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, that means I had to pack up my 3D printer and curing station, so I can't even do anything else on the Big Bird right now. That's all packed up and moved to a safe storage location. I did keep this model handy because if I have to run, I can grab my little bird and just run with it and throw it in the car and get out of here if I have to. Because we are kind of in a ready status as far as evacuation. So I'm expecting if the fire continues, we'll probably be in a set status here in the next day or two. And if that happens, it's probably going to be a little bit before I can get another video out. So, but I just did at least want to get out and mention to those that maybe are following along with these videos, hey, maybe don't put these parts on yet because we've got to make a modification to this. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some filing and some sanding, get this nice and smooth and ready to receive that part once we get that together. So we'll do that next episode. Sorry, this is kind of a brief episode. Hopefully it won't be too long before I can get another one put out. But like I said, it depends on what this wildfire does as far as causing us to have to evacuate. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Again, sorry for the short episode, and sorry that it's kind of sporadic right now with these videos, being able to get these videos out, but hopefully you understand with everything that's going on around my house here right now. So once I get those plates in, and once everything kind of settles down, I'll get another video done. We'll do pretty much the next video. We'll pretty much be putting this kit together from Lake Monster Details, and we'll talk a little more about it as well. So anyway, guys, thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you for all the new subscribers, everybody that's been signing up. I don't know if you're Star Trek modelers or Airwolf fans, but I've got a lot of new subscribers, and I appreciate everybody for doing that and watching these videos. And you know, maybe if I can't do any models, maybe I can get some more on-scene location film type videos done. So we'll see. But again, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Until next time, keep modeling.